Wasn't it Bernard Shaw who said education is everything you remember when you've forgotten everything you learnt at school? And as long as headmasters have that written on the wall, that's okay.
The child's angle on the world is a fresh one. Though children have great imagination, they also, I think, see things as they really are, whereas adults wrap them up and explain them away and have television programs about them. In children's books, by convention, you can break the rules. The laws of gravity, the laws of time and space, and by breaking the rules you expose the anarchy that is behind the facade of polite and secure existence which most of us live. We need the anarchy. I think it's a form of liberation, but also it enables us to get the whole of human experience in perspective. It is a funny world, it's an awful world in some ways, but nevertheless, seeing through fantasy, seeing through the eyes of children, I think it enables the writer, after all you write books because you want to write and no other reason, it enables you to come to terms with your own experience.
I'm critical of the public school system because I think it divides the country. And that's, I think it's a very serious problem for Britain. I mean, I think it's something which holds Britain back. I think class is a real problem, and I think the public schools contribute to it. I've contributed because I love the school, and I love being in a good school, and I don't believe in abolishing them. I mean, if a world can't take, I mean, an institution like the public school in general, can't take a bit of a sharp attack on some of its sillier or less agreeable aspects, then it's ripe for decay. If headmasters can't laugh at themselves, they ought to be out of the job very quickly. That's the saving grace of megalomania. Because essentially, education is a slightly farcical exercise anyway, and you shouldn't take it too seriously.
Some schools that have admitted girls have a rule specifically forbidding sexual relationships between the boys and girls. Why doesn't Westminster?
Good heavens, do they really? I don't think you can have a rule forbidding sexual relations. I mean, you can have rules saying that stealing is wrong because everybody recognizes that that is an antisocial activity. I don't think it's one of those things you put in rules. When I first became a headmaster, there was a rule book, not here, but at another school, with 150 rules, of which the last was taps must be turned off after use. I would think that was that sort of rule, and rather a silly one.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the Grees of 1979 is Stephen Squire.
We don't regard it as, you know, a major undermining of society if people go to pubs and drink. In London, you can go far away from the school and find a pub and drink. And if you do that and you're not caught, not for me to say good luck to you, but it is one way of as it were, living. If you are caught, then you deserve to be punished because not only are you breaking the law, but you haven't got the energy to walk far enough.
The public schools, I think one has to accept, may reinforce, may exacerbate class differences, yes, but at a fairly small percentage level. The real problems of class arise from quite different things, the distribution of wealth and so on. Now, if you abolish public schools, you will find, surely, it already happens, that wealthy people will buy houses, expensive houses, in areas where there are good comprehensives. It'll do nothing to improve the comprehensives in the inner city. On the contrary, it will tend to mask that particular problem. I think what I object to in the idea is not just that it's an attack on liberty, but it's a cheap and silly shortcut to a utopia that may not exist. The utopia is some classless society. People who can't be bothered to work towards a classless society, a more homogeneous, if you like, a more fair society, want some easy shortcut, and they see the public schools as something they can throw to the left wing, or, you know, they can achieve it that way. It isn't true.
There's something about the way the school presents itself to you. If it's all glossy brochures and flannel, I would be suspicious. Ask current parents, assess the head, look at the literature, look at their record, and don't be too hung up on it being independent or state. If you've got a really good state school, primary or secondary, on your doorstep, within range, don't spend your money.
Let's just ask you though, Dr. Rae, at my school, private eye was banned and confiscated. Do you ban and confiscate it?
Oh no, it's one of the more boring journals, which is quite safe to admit to the school. No, just something to keep the boys quiet, really. I don't know how many children you brought up, Jill, but we brought up 6 and have 8 grandchildren, and I can assure you that there are times when young children, through tantrums or temper or continued disobedience, really do need, and I would argue without any psychological overtones, want a smack. It puts an end to it. It's from somebody who loves them, or in the case of a childminder, it's somebody whom the parents have given permission to.
One of the problems of our time is we see so much truth thrust at us. People are executed on the 10 o'clock news and so on, that we don't want to face it. Therefore, what we do is to say to ourselves, unconsciously, I'm not going to imagine what that person is feeling. So out he goes, and it doesn't matter. And the death of that sort of imagination is awful for society. What worries me about the idea that you can ensure democracy by encouraging people to understand political parties is that they may simply be vulnerable to the sharp operator. And the best defense against a sharp operator is a sharp mind. I have doubts about this whole market of alcoholic soft drinks. Now, I can't stop them, let me be realistic about my powers, but I think I would try and persuade them in the long term to think of moving out of the market altogether. Men don't grow up as fast as women, and therefore something of that childhood imagination remains.